Good morning. So today I'm going to do a video on Lucifer, Satan, the devil. He have many names, but the name that we're going to focus on today is Lucifer. Lucifer. Now, this name Lucifer comes up in the Old Testament. Today, the devil is downplayed a lot, and it's the way people speak about the devil. They think about the devil as this being who has horns and who looks evil and looks like really evil. Red eyes, horns on his head. That's how the devil is described today by a lot of people. But the Bible actually says the opposite of what a lot of people are thinking. And the devil would love for people to think that he is this being with horns and red eyes, and that's how the devil want people to portray him to be. But the Bible say he forms himself in the light, like he formed himself into an angel of light. And so he actually looks the opposite of what people think he is. So we're going to start in Isaiah chapter 14. Isaiah chapter 14. This is where Lucifer, that name Lucifer, if I'm correct, is first mentioned in the Bible, Lucifer. And it's mentioned here in Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12. And it says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?" So here we see, he says, son of the morning. Son of the morning. How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will ascend into heaven. You notice here? I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. Now let me stop here. Paul talks about it being a man going into the third heaven. So that lets us know that there are three heavens. And so here you see the devil, or Lucifer, I'm going to call him Lucifer, says, for thou hast, he said, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars. So he must be talking about the first heaven, which is above the stars. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Now, if you haven't noticed here, with just the first the first 3 or 4 verses that I read is that you notice that Lucifer has an eye problem. A eye problem. He has an eye problem. Because he's talking about everything I will do. I will. I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will set also upon the mounts of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. So here we see the devil say he's going to be like God. And I'm going to get to that point too about he said he will be like God. Okay, it's another part in the Bible where we're going to talk about something else, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Then he said, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell. And God is speaking to him now, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? So what I'm getting from that is that when you see the devil, when you see him, the Bible almost looks at it like, is this he? Like it's nothing so great about him that's going, when you see him, that you're expecting this being to be huge. But I'm not downplaying his power, because we must understand too that he is not in a human form. He's not in a human form. He is a fallen angel. And so, let's see here. Should I keep reading? That made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners, all the kings of the nation, even of them lied in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slandered, thus through with a sword that go down to the stone of the pit, as a carcass trodden under their feet. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to revisit something here. What I was reading here in Isaiah, where he says, I will be like the Most High. The devil said he will be like the Most High. So we're going to Ezekiel 28. This is something I was reading when I was studying here that I found very, very, very interesting. It's a king here in Ezekiel chapter 28 by the name of Tyrus. Now, listen to this king of Tyre, how he speaks when it comes to God. And it says, Ezekiel 28, verse 1, the word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus says the Lord God, because thy heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the sea, yet thou art a man and not God, though thou hast set thy heart as the heart of God. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. So here you see this King Tyrus. The Bible he gives the description says that he said in his heart that verse 2 it says, thou says the Lord God, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. So this king went as far as saying that he was a God. And he went even further. He said, I sit in the seat of God. This sounds like Lucifer, right? It sounds just like Lucifer back in Isaiah, right? And I am a God, and I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the sea. Yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thy heart as the heart of God. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thy understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and have gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy wisdom and by thy trafficking hast thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore, thus says the Lord God, because thou hast thy heart as the heart of God, behold, there I will bring strangers upon thee, the terror of nations, and they shall draw their sword against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the death of them that are slandered in the midst of the sea. Wilt thou yet be before him that slay thee? I am God. But thou shalt be a man and no God in the hands of him that slay thee. Thou shalt die the death of the uncircumcised by the hand of the stranger, and for I have spoken it, says the Lord God. So what God is saying here to this king is that he is speaking like Satan here, and Satan is using him, and he's going to find, in his end is he's going to be with the slain, with the one who is the puppet master. That he's going to end up with Satan, this King Tyrus. That's what that is saying. That's Ezekiel 28:2 through 2 through 10. So now the Lord speaks here. He said, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus says the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been and eaten. Okay, let's go back to this. Thus says the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. So here he's changing courses here, and he's starting to talk about now the devil. And he says that thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, the topaz, the japheth, the sapphires, the emerald, the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of their tabrets and of thy pipes were prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. Tabret and of thy pipes. So here, I guess, well, people said that he was the devil, or Lucifer was over music. And it makes sense to me because music today is very, very powerful. Music today can really it's power in music, and the devil have used that in a lot of ways today with the different types of music to get his agenda across to the masses. And so he says in verse 14, thou art the anointed cherub that covers, and I have set thee so that thou was upon the holy mountains of God, and thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst thee with violence, and thou hast sinned therefore. I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thy heart was lifted up because of thy beauty, and thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground, I will lay thee before kings, that they may hold thee. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thy iniquities, by the iniquities of thy traffickings. Therefore will I bring a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. And they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more. So here you see God bringing it home, saying the devil is going to be Lucifer, the devil, Satan, all those names are going to be brought to ashes. He's going to be destroyed in the end. Now, what was the devil's problem? What was the devil's problem? The devil's problem was pride. Pride is one of those things that is very, very dangerous. And the thing is with pride, I've come to learn in my life that if God don't show you that you are prideful, you may miss it. You may not see it in your life. That's why it's always important to have a relationship, personal relationship with Jesus, because he will show you these things in your life. So the problem with the devil is that he had pride in him. Pride. He said he will be like the Most High. And the thing is, this king of Tyrus, the thing about him is that he said that he went as far as letting the puppet master, which is Satan, here in verse 28 and 2, about halfway through this verse, he said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God. Now, this is an abomination. This is definitely an abomination. When you say that you are God, that's what the devil wants you to say. That you are God. Now, whether that's God with a small g, and that's what it is because the God is the all capital letters. So it's a God with a small g. But anyway, the thing is you're putting yourself in the place of God himself when you do that. So that was the problem. Pride is what the problem was with the devil. And as you can see, what his end will be. All right, this is what I have today. Um, I hope someone got something from it. I hope multiple people got something from it. All right.